One of my panelists here, Jay Johnson, the former Secretary of Homeland Security, believes Joe Biden should be unabashed and say, I will testify. I got nothing to hide. I'll come. And essentially almost as a, I got nothing bothers me, nothing to hide here. And the other side won't come in and participate. That's a reflection on them. Where are you on this issue of the Bidens?
I don't support bringing in Joe Biden or Hunter Biden to try to give credence to these debunked conspiracy theories. I think it's a really dangerous precedent to set. There are going to be future impeachment inquiries, and our job is to make a decision on the charges that have been given to us by the House of Representatives. And this sideshow of Fox News and InfoWars conspiracy theories doesn't have anything to do with those charges. So I just really worry about the precedent.
Is there any negotiations happening at all on the witness issue between the two sides, or is this really everybody sort of dug in?
Unless something changed last night, there have been no negotiations. But remember, that's because Senator McConnell hasn't been willing to entertain any conversation. Normally, you would have had a conversation between the leaders about the rules, and Senator McConnell just shut Senator Schumer out. And so, as a leader, he does have a responsibility to reach out to Senator Schumer and say, let's talk about rules, let's talk about witnesses. They have not done that, which is why a lot of us believe that this is a done deal, that they are not going to vote for any witnesses. They're going to try to shut this thing down as quickly as they can next week.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.